Hello and welcome to this week's episode of United by Red, the first week without the Premier League, without any real sport. So good luck
I'm
filling an
happy.
hour of this.
Well, at least I won't have to moan. Oh, no, that's not true. I will moan about Man United, actually. We have played.
I suppose we can start with last night's mauling, embarrassment.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, is that like the most one-sided Champions League game you've ever watched in a final, possibly?
I said these exact words to our dad that, yes, it's the most one-sided final I think I've ever watched.
I've ever seen a game. I've watched FA Cup games where City have played Wigan and they've not been that one-sided. It was...
Inter just looked like deer caught in the headlights, and PSG were just very, very good, and apparently are a much better team without Mbappe, which is an interesting concept.
Obviously, I did clearly say early in the season that they weren't very good and they wouldn't win it.
That went well.
All French fans can write in and give me a pat on the back. You're welcome. I've struck again.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't really much to break down from the game because after 20 minutes, it was basically over. PSG were 2-0 up, and that was it. It was dead.
Yeah. I mean, it looked ominous after 5, didn't it, when Inter had no touches of the ball and were just manning the barricades, hoping to see out the first 10 minutes. But, I mean, they missed some chances as well, PSG, didn't they?
Yeah, they could have had
Dembele missed that tap-in from that cross. I mean, you've only got to put his foot on ball in there. I mean, yeah, I don't think I've ever watched, definitely not watched a Champions League final, but there's not many finals gone by that would have been just as clearly one-sided as that, I don't think, in any sport.
Yeah, it was quite disappointing in the end. We have all this big build-up. We had some people playing music at the start, Linkin Park, I think, or somebody or other. And yeah, in the end, it was just a bit of a disappointment in the end because you're hoping for, the sort of game we had Barcelona into, which were fantastic matches over both legs. But in the end, they just got railroaded, and there wasn't really much chance of it ever being a competitive final, I don't think. From literally, like you said, within the first 10 minutes, there was...
I don't think Inter ever got into the game, did they?
No. Which is unfortunate for a final, unfortunate for them. They looked like they were on for the treble a month ago and had won nothing.
I mean, it's unfortunate for anyone doing a sports podcast because it gives you absolutely fuck all to talk about. I mean,
one thing we can talk about is that at the start of this season, we predicted the top 4 of the Premier League. I did very well. I got all 4 right teams. Just
did you? City, I mean, I can't even remember who I predicted, but I'm guessing I didn't go very well.
Man City messed up the order, so I said it would be City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea in that order. Didn't expect Man City to become prime Port Vale for half the season. Otherwise, I was pretty good. If Man City won the league like we all expected, I'd got the order correct and exactly. So well done me. It took me 11 months, but I predicted something correct. Right.
Yes. I dread to think of what I'd predicted. Or did I get Ipswich in top 4?
You probably had Man United somewhere in there.
Oh, definitely. I'm prime Gary Neville, me. I'm backing United all the way. I still think we can finish in top 6 this season.
You can. If we change all the results, then somehow you'd probably still mess that up. You'd end up 7th.
Well, we did just lose to an All-Stars 11 from the Asian continent. I mean, that was an interesting defeat.
But again, this goes back to something we discussed many, many months ago. Why, after a season like that, if you've flown all the way to Hong Kong to play 2 more games?
Well, I know why, because I've been paid £8 million for it, but the premise of it is just pathetic, isn't it? It's all pathetic. There's no advantages to it other than financial gain. And especially after the season we've had, the best thing United could have done is disappear into the hills, go and all bury their heads, let people forget that anyone at Man United exists for the next 6 to 8 weeks, and come back into a new season. And what they've gone and done is played 2 hybrid friendlies, which is quite ironic how we discussed these a few months ago, and these is what these are supposedly. I don't understand them. And we lost one, and we were 1-0 down at half-time in the other one.
Did you win the second one?
We did. It took Obi to score 2 and Haven to score the 3rd, or Heaven, or however you want to pronounce his name. So the kids came good for us. I mean, I watched Rasmus Højlund play in both games, and they were his worst 2 performances of the season, and that's saying something. I watched the guy contrive to manage to get the ball 6 yard out from goal with a defender floundering on the floor and a goalkeeper trying to get across, and he didn't even get a shot off. He just collapsed like he'd had a heart attack, and yeah, and I just thought, you're at the lowest point now, aren't you? It can't get any worse for you. You're playing Hong Kong, which I don't know whether that's a club, a country, a cross between the two. I don't know what Hong Kong is, to be fair. It's a place. It's just a holiday destination for people that don't like sunshine, isn't it? And he's managed to not even get a shot in. I'm not asking him to score. I was just asking him to hit the ball towards the goal to at least give somebody else a chance of tapping it in. And he's not even done that. He's just laid on the floor in a heap. And I just thought, it can't get any worse for you now, mate. You've hit rock bottom. Come back next season and have another go.
At being worse.
And Obi came on in the second half against Hong Kong, and he's 10 times the striker that Ireland is ever going to be. And he's like 15 years old or something. I mean, his header for the second, both. His turn and finish for the first goal and his header for the second goal are world-class finishers against a very, very bang-average pub team. I appreciate it. But yeah, Højlund doesn't score those goals if there's only him on the pitch. So we've answered that problem. I know starts up front for us next season if we don't sign anyone. And it's definitely not Højlund.
Maguire and Obi.
Oh. We've got prime Mbappe playing at centre half. We've got a kid. Yeah, I mean, the fact that they even took the piss enough to call them hybrid friendlies was enough for me to just think. I mean, I watched both games because I'm a glutton for punishment. Yeah, I don't know what you can take from them. I just don't understand any of it, to be fair. But it's the new thing now, isn't it? I mean, they've only got till the 19th of July, and we're back in action against Leeds in the first pre-season friendly.
Marvellous.
And
again,
while we're
why Leeds?
briefly addressing that subject, Manchester United play, I think there's 5 scheduled pre-season friendlies, all of them against Premier League sides. So we're flying to Sweden and then America, and we're playing Leeds, Bournemouth, Everton, I think West Ham, and one more. Could we not have stayed at Old Trafford and done this?
I'm going to say, I've got a really good idea here. That could have all been done in England.
Yeah. I mean, Leeds, Manchester, we know we're all. I mean, they could have just played them all on one pitch, couldn't they? So,
But
I
again,
can't really have got Formula One for flying all over the world randomly and then let football off. They're flying from Manchester to Sweden to play Leeds, and then from Sweden, I'm guessing they'll fly back to Manchester for a bit, and then they'll fly out to America to play in some made-up tournament against 4 English sides.
Oh, this is that one they do every year, isn't it? Don't Liverpool normally go out to that one as well?
Yeah, well, then we're not playing them, but yeah, it's pathetic, mate. It's absolutely pathetic. Flying across the world to play a load more English teams in a load more English games with no real rhyme or reason.
I mean, the bigger problem with that is, besides the whole stupidity of the whole thing of it, you lose all of them. You're going into a Premier League season having played 5 Premiership teams and been battered again. So
Yeah, I mean, we could be bottom by Christmas, couldn't we? We could be down by Christmas.
Bottom before it starts if you lose to all them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd like to say that if we got relegated to the Championship, we'd miss we'd get out of VAR, but VAR randomly showed up in the playoff final. Can you explain why? Can anyone explain why?
I don't understand how we've played 46 games of a season, 4 playoff semi-final games, and then at the end of it, we just go, here's VAR. For one game, we've changed the whole rules of an entire league campaign for one game. How can you just do that?
I just don't understand it at all. Who's come to the conclusion that they need it now?
I mean, I get Wembley Stadium can do it, but that's not the point.
Bramall Lane can do it, can't it? Bramall Lane's hardly, the 2 Bob Stadium, is it? It's been in the Premier League recently a few times.
The rules of the Championship season are we don't use VAR. So then why? Exactly. I mean, I didn't watch the League One and League Two playoff final, so I'm guessing they used it because they were at Wembley.
Didn't see them. I did watch the Charlton one. I can't remember if I'm on it. I would presume so.
But
It wasn't as big a shock to me.
It's just random. It's just, I don't understand this, how we start a competition like we did the FA Cup. And then all of a sudden we had semi-automatic offside. Then we didn't. Then we did. Then the Premier League did.
How
Then
can you
somebody
play
else
a
did.
full competition under varying rules? And I understand that VAR is there for a purpose. I mean, can I just say it doesn't serve its purpose, but it's there for a purpose to try and get decisions right. You know, and I'll go into in a minute exactly why VAR is a waste of time. But
really, you think VAR is a waste of time? You should have mentioned it before.
I'll bring it up once or twice. How can you 46? I mean, there's not 46 games, isn't there? There's 46 games
per team.
So I don't know how many of the games there is. There's going to be like 1,000, I'm guessing, isn't there? It's like, how can you play 1,000 football games without an officiating device that then you bring into the final? And people say, well, it doesn't affect the players, but it affects everything, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Because it affects the outcomes of games. So you can't do that. You can't bring something in that makes such a big change to the outcome of a fixture in a final. And you can't convince me that it's the biggest game. And I understand it is one of the biggest games in world football for various financial reasons. I'm talking about 200 million it's worth to the winners. But so what? If I looked at it and thought it's the biggest game out there and VAR makes everything so much better, then fine. But it doesn't even make things better. 99 times out of it makes it worse.
Oh, absolutely.
So I just don't understand the thought process. Who signed off on it? Somebody's obviously got a backhander and made a few quid out of it. That's why it's there. But, you know, and Sheffield United fans will complain, won't they? Because it cost them a quite convincing 2-0 lead at the time. And people may say, well, it got the right decision. But that's not the point, is it? The point is you can't just drop in new devices to the last 1% of a season. It's not been there all this time. Because if you'd go back and re-referee the season, totally different teams would be in the playoffs. Because
Sheffield United might have already got automatic promotion if they've had some bad decisions go against them. So
either give it them at the start and they have to deal with it all season, or don't use it at all. You can't just throw it in a final. I mean, it's
ridiculous.
Stupid.
Absolutely ridiculous that we've just thrown that into one game. And say Sheffield United, for all we know, might have had goals given against them that they're similar to what they scored this season. But without VAR,
the amount of decisions VAR makes that mean you don't agree with, and you go back to an entire season, you know, how many decisions would VAR change? Hundreds.
Yeah.
Literally, probably thousands throughout the season.
So I just had a quick Google while you were talking. There was 552 league games in the Championship, plus 4 playoff games. So there was 556 games in the Championship that didn't use VAR, and then one did.
Mental.
And it changed the outcome of the game.
It did. And I understand there's people say, well, they got the right decision. Okay, I can see people's argument. It's just the principle of the whole setup for me just stinks, and I don't favour either team. So I don't give a monkeys. I just want to see a fair game played under fair conditions that all the teams are used to playing under.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I watched it and I thought, oh, it's 2-0. All of a sudden they went, he's reviewing it. I'm like, how is he reviewing it? And they're like, oh, VAR. Like,
yeah, I didn't realise they got VAR until, and I was like, who's reviewing it? And I'm like texting my Sheffield United friends because all of them were there. I got family there who's Sheffield United friends, and they were like, what's going on here?
It was just insane. It's utterly insane.
And people are there saying it's not about the result, it's about the principle of playing the game under the same conditions every week.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the decision was right. It was offside. It shouldn't have counted. But you can't just throw VAR in at the last minute. It's just, it's ridiculous. It's playing the Football World Cup where offside is a thing, and then on the last game going, offsides don't count, all do what you want. You can't just do that, you know, in a final of a competition.
They've had a season of it this year, haven't they, with the automated offsides and various things changing, but yeah, you can't do that.
No, the automated offside shouldn't have been brought in partway through the season. That should have waited by the start of next season, so every game's been played under the same set of rules.
Trial it in the pre-season friendlies that are played in the UK. If you need to trial it.
There's been trialled and used for the last 5 years throughout the world.
It's been trialled in Champions League, which is arguably the biggest competition in the world. Where else do you need to trial it? Do you really need to trial it at Bournemouth, Leicester? I don't
Well,
know.
that was well done. We were very positive for no time whatsoever to say you were
Well,
happy about.
before we leave VAR, I'm just going to let you have your say on the VAR incident in the Man United game. The goalkeeper comes out to claim it, doesn't claim it. Ollie Watkins takes it off him, doesn't take it off him, just plays the ball, kills it in the net.
Oh,
Referee blows his whistle mid incident, and VAR can't get involved because the referee's blown his whistle.
yeah, that was all a mess.
I mean, that is horrendous, isn't it?
I mean, I've seen the footage back. Your goalkeeper does not have it in control. He's bobbling it around in his hands on the floor. He's not touching it as Ollie Watkins kicks it. So there's no way a referee can deem he's in control of that ball.
No.
And why, in the day and age where you have VAR, would you blow the whistle there? Let the play happen and then decide what's going on. Because you can speak to the little man in the box and say, I think he's kicked it out of his hands. Can you confirm? And the little man in the box goes, I'm ordering pizza. I'm not sure. I'll come back to you in an hour. And then goes, no, we didn't kick it out of his hands. That's a goal.
Screen and have a look yourself, you lazy bastard.
So yeah, it was all just a mess. There's no reason to blow the whistle.
And it gets worse, in my opinion, because the referee blowing the whistle had no effect on the outcome of what happened. So why can't VAR still step in?
Because the game's dead. Once the referee blows the whistle, and I agree with that.
But if it was a position where anyone that could have changed, the referee blows the whistle, defenders stop, he runs through, puts it in the net, fine. But the referee blowing the whistle had no effect on anything because he was tapping it in the net as they blew the whistle. So to me, you've got to use common sense and say, did the referee blowing the whistle affect the outcome? Did players stop tackling him? Did players stop trying to win the ball? No, because there's no one there. There's no one there. Ollie Watkins has got the ball. The referee blows the whistle. It doesn't stop any Man United player doing what they should have done because they weren't close enough. So to me, it's just a farce. It's just another. We've brought in a rule and we can't use it.
The whole thing's a farce. It's bad officiating. It's just bad.
And we talk about VAR giving the goal to, we're taking a goal off Sheffield United. They've taken a goal off Aston Villa, which, all right, you can argue cost them Champions League football. I mean, they'd possibly still have lost anyway. So they had 10 men or not one, but they were playing Man United, so God knows what would have happened. But that's the epitome of what VAR's there for, isn't it? The big decisions at the big moment to get it right.
Yep. But the referee's actions have caused it to fail. He's the one that's at blame. He's got the wrong decision in the first place because your goalkeeper's not even close to having it in control. He should never blow the whistle in that instance. I don't get why you would. I can't see what's gone through his head that says I need to blow this whistle now. So if the ball goes in the net, he can still rule it out.
Why did it take them so long again as well? When we had like a 2-minute pause. If they can't review it, what were we waiting for?
Probably them to decide that they can't review it. They were reviewing if they could review it.
I'll start swearing again in a minute. And then, but they did manage to note to the referee that Amorim had kicked his water bottle 3 foot. And when I say kicked it, he'd sort of knocked it over with his foot. So he'd not volleyed it into the crowd. And VAR noted to the referee that Amorim had kicked his water bottle. So they spotted that, which is relevant in no sense at all.
But going to say, so what? They've noted it and?
Well, I don't know. It's like they're going to review it after the race type thing. Is he going to get a 10-grid penalty for next season? Is he going to have to start next season at stand? I don't know. But it just epitomises VAR, doesn't it? You know, the idiot in VAR has noted that the manager has kicked his water bottle probably 3 foot away, at nobody, near nobody, towards nothing. Caused no harm to anyone other than the water bottle. And if we're going to start worrying about water bottles' feelings, we've got problems, aren't we? And he's noted it live. Oh, the commentator come on and went that it's been noted by VAR that he's kicked his bottle. And I'm like, are you having a fucking laugh? Villa have just scored a totally legitimate goal, down to 10 men after the goalkeeper's kamikaze our striker in the middle of nowhere. And you're worried about whether Amorim's kicking a water bottle about. I mean, fuck me. It's like absolutely pathetic. So yeah, and just to sum up Man United, I had a very bad deja vu moment after the game. We all clapped to say goodbye to some of the players, Christian Eriksen, blah, blah, blah. And I said goodbye to Johnny Evans again. Having said goodbye to Johnny Evans 11 years ago, when he wasn't good enough to play for Manchester United. I had to sit there and watch us say goodbye to him again. And I wasn't sure whether he's been robbing a living out of us or whether we're the most stupid club in the world.
Both.
How have we said goodbye to him? And don't get me wrong, Johnny Evans has been a very good defender in his day for his right team. He played well for Leicester, had a great career. He's not a world-class defender. How have Manchester United sent him on his way, said thank you for your service, and 10 years later, done the same?
Because that is the epitome of Manchester United right now.
Exactly the words I wrote. The epitome of Manchester United is for 10 years we've stood still. In fact, we've probably gone backwards because Johnny Evans is not as good now at 38 as he was at 28 when we sold him, and he weren't very good then. I had to turn it off at that point. I felt sorry for Johnny Evans because it's not his fault, but I weren't sure if what's gone on there.
But I did see an interesting stat, actually. I believe it was yesterday, but might have been the day before. And it basically said that next season will be the first time since 1974, I think it said, that there will be no player in your club that's played under Alex Ferguson. So his influence in the club has finally ended.
It's quite an interesting stat, considering that Marcus Rashford still is our player.
But are they expecting him to leave?
Well, they are, but is he going to?
Well, I mean, I don't think...
I was expecting us to finish in the top 4, and we didn't. So,
I don't think you want him. I think Villa have quite liked having him.
I agree with all of that, but they're presuming that he's not going to be there, aren't they, with that stat?
Yes.
Because technically, that's not true.
But hang on, would Rashford have played under Ferguson?
Oh, no, he didn't. Mourinho brought him.
2016, he turned up.
Yeah.
Ferguson left in 2012.
Mourinho gave his debut, didn't he?
You've lost a lot of years in your life. You're very old now.
I'm only 34, aren't I? No. So Johnny Evans has been there.
So Johnny Evans, who left Manchester United 11 years ago, is the last remnants of Alex Ferguson leaving the club.
Fantastic. Well, we'll move on.
So Johnny Evans re-signing a contract next week to return.
When he came in as a coach, didn't he end up playing most of the pissing season?
And then Scott Carson will probably get another contract at Manchester United to continue being the most successful goalkeeper in the history of the sport, having done nothing.
Yeah, he's doing well, isn't he?
I think, well done. You've managed to bitch and moan about football for another 23 minutes, even though actually nothing happened in football this week.
Didn't. Arsenal.
Here we go.
Arsenal quite often. It was quite an interesting story that came up to say that Arsenal have agreed to sign Zubimendi.
Yes, I did see this.
And obviously, he's the world-class striker that they've been working for, isn't he?
You've had the same reaction I did.
I mean, do I just sit here as a Man United fan? Obviously, I like to take the piss out of other teams because it makes me feel better about how bad Man United are. Yeah. Everyone can say what they want. But Arsenal need a striker. I know that. You know that. Everyone in the world of football knows that. I know the next line that's coming out of Arsenal, and I will tell you now so I can come back and tell you again later in the summer. Arsenal will buy a forward player. It won't be a striker. He'll be a little winger or whatever they want to call him, a number 9 or a number 10 or whatever they play. And the line will be, we're priced out of a move for the other strikers. We're priced out of a move for Isak. Well, why didn't they put the 50-odd million that they're spending on this guy towards the fucking striker that they need?
Because that'd be too simple.
They've got 50 million already, right? If you're going to spend 50, 60 million on a little forward, now we can go to 110. So that will get you most of the strikers in world football right now. So why haven't they gone with an open checkbook to Isak or to Kores or to any of them and said, this is the player we want. How much do you want for him? I'll buy him. And then if I've got any change when I leave the shopping centre, I'll go and buy Zubimendi, who I don't need because I've got more midfielders and tanks in World War II. Why are they doing this again?
I don't know. I really, really don't know.
As soon as I saw it, I'm like, another midfielder, and they've gone and bought one.
I don't get the concept of the best part of 3 seasons, with everybody who watches football has been saying Arsenal can win things if they buy a striker. Everybody said it. Arsenal fans have even said it. So we'll go and buy a central midfielder.
Can I just get this clear for a moment? Because I've had an argument a few times. I don't dislike Arsenal. I come from a place where Arsenal, right, were the biggest challengers to Manchester United when I was growing up. And I've watched some of the best Arsenal sides time and time again. Thierry Henry's, Patrick Vieira's, all those players, Dennis Bergkamp's, some of the greatest Arsenal sides they've ever had. And what they were about is winning. There became a point when they started building this new stadium where it wasn't about winning. It was about finishing in the top 4, and that was an achievement. And that's now Arsenal's motto. Basically, coming second, having a good go, turning up gets you a reward. And I want to see the old Arsenal, where it's about being the best in the business. I want to see Thierry Henry's and people like that playing for Arsenal that want to win things. Not this Arsenal that play lovely football, but are just happy to be taking part every week. They need to be more than that. And they just seem so happy to just finish second every week.
But it's all right. They'll buy another midfielder and that'll solve all of the problems in that club.
It's people say to me, we want to see Man United back at the top because Man United are one of the institutions of the Premier League, one of the greatest sides in the Premier League history. I'm the same with people like Arsenal. I want to see Arsenal challenging for titles, but genuinely challenging for trophies because they are one of the stalwarts of the Premier League. But in the time that Man United have deteriorated over the last 13 years, what have Arsenal done? You can't say they've done much better, can you?
Well, they've won less. I would say, if you look at statistically and trophy-wise, I'm guessing they've won less in the last 13
This is
years.
meant to be their pomp, and they're struggling. And I just, for me, it's got to... It just seems to be repeating the same mistakes again. We're here again. They're buying a midfielder. And I just think, it must just be me. I mean, if you're an Arsenal fan, you must tear your hair out every time you turn Sky Sports News on. Because they just buy the player they don't need.
And then the even more ironic part about all of it is you've got a club like then Manchester United who've looked at Mbeumo and Cunha straight away, who are attacking players.
Yeah. And gone out and hopefully getting deals in places for him. But
I mean, Mbeumo, I think, is very... We actually jokingly spoke about this probably January, saying Mbeumo should go and do a job at a decent team, or not a decent.
I mean, I think I don't know if I said it on here. I've definitely said it to you. But if I was a football club, I would walk into Brentford and say, "How much for Wissa and Mbeumo?" I'd take them both because they are fantastic footballers. They've got the right work ethic. They've got their energy. They're everywhere on the pitch. They can both score. I mean, what they got? Something like 19 and 17 goals in the Premier League this season, playing for Brentford. That's fucking unbelievable. I mean, they were playing for City. That's 40 goals a season type level we're talking here. I'd just walk it. I mean, if I were Arsenal, I'd have walked into Brentford and said, "Give me both of them two. What's it going to cost me? 100 million?
Not a problem.
When I've done winning trophies, and I took them both off their hands in no time. People aren't going to do it. And
nope,
they're going to go and buy Zubimendi instead. Blew my mind, that one really did. It really did. I just looked at it and I thought, another summer. It's almost like summer repeats itself. I'm having the same summer every time. United will be shit. Arsenal buy a midfielder, and Liverpool or City will do really well.
Oh, it's like Groundhog Day.
It's just
and then you'll complain about it on here.
Yeah. Well, if I've still got one by then. So I think I've done with football, to be fair. Football's over. I'm walking away from it. Yeah.
It's all right. Just don't worry. In 2 weeks' time, the Club World Cup will begin.
I knew you were going to bring this up, you bastard. Have they moved the transfer window just for this fucking tournament?
Only for the clubs in it.
I couldn't understand why people were signing players left, right, and centre. And I'm like, how are you agreeing to sign people when the transfer window's shut? What? Only for the clubs in it?
Wonder how long it will take to catch on.
How's that fair?
Because they've got to play a new tournament, so they get a special dispensation to sign players for the month prior, or whatever it is, 2 weeks.
What? But that affects the entire... What? That's not... No! They're not buying them for the tournament. They'll play next season. That's not allowed. So they've got... So that's like going into a supermarket before it opens and you can get all the fresh stuff, isn't it? It's like as the game, you go in at 8 o'clock in the morning. I can't go in while 9. And then when I get in, you go, oh, good fruit's gone. I've just got a shit rotten one at bottom. What's that? How is that a thing? I thought it was open to everybody. I didn't realise it just. Fuck's sake, man! How is that possible? I mean, come on, that definitely has got to have an effect on the transfer window, hasn't it? Because they can buy players now that other people can't, and they can buy people off you that you can't replace yet. And I know you've got time, but that's not the point, is it?
And they'll then get 100 million quid for winning it, so which then helps them with PSR anyway.
That's blown my mind. That's even worse than I thought it were.
Yep, it's a thing. I mean, I don't understand any of it. I don't understand the concept of this tournament. I don't understand why we've now got a transfer window that's open for some and not others. So it was sanctioned at the behest of FIFA. The window will open early June 1st to June 10th. This will allow teams competing in the tournament to add extra strength in depth, meaning we could see clubs act earlier than usual in the transfer market. Cool. So they have 9 days as of today to sign players. If you are in the Club World Cup, you can go out and have your pickings and take whoever you want, and the rest of the world can do nothing about it. You've got 30. Bear in mind, you said there's 32 teams involved. There's probably only 8 of them that's got any money, because the rest of them are playing out of Japan or they're a hybrid of some sort of nation. To PSG, Man City, Chelsea, Juventus, other European teams, which I don't know. I don't know. They probably are. They may be. They may not be. I don't know. I don't care. I haven't looked. I've got no interest. I won't watch. Football has ended until the start of August now. I've got no interest in watching this. I've got no interest in watching England, who will probably play at some point this week for reasons
Albania
that
and
Senegal, and it's Andorra. You were close.
Same,
but not right.
Same place. Basically same.
No.
Door in it. Next door. Gives you the same left in the next door.
I've got no interest. I don't care. And I just want to pretend that none of it's ever going to happen. And
I can't believe that. That has thrown me over the edge, that.
Yep.
If I were in any way suicidal, it would be happening. I mean, you can't do that. That's just ridiculous.
It is utterly ridiculous, but unfortunately, it is a thing.
Are you telling me that me complaining is not going to change it? Is that what you're trying to tell?
Pretty much, yeah. It's just going to happen regardless.
I'm going to write to FIFA, but I won't bother.
Don't bother, because they'll only ignore it. Because the people in power just want to do whatever they want. So yes, there you go. I think we can move on from football for another week. And I'll go to something else that will make you really, really, really happy. Mohammed Ben Sulayem is back making statements in the world.
Oh, no. Oh, Jesus Christ. What's this moron said now?
It is unfair that a driver or team principal gets more money than the FIA. We own everything. We should earn more money.
Who's going to pay them?
I don't know. Pay yourself. Pay yourself to go away.
If you haven't got enough in your company to pay yourself them wages, how are you expecting to get them?
Because basically saying the team should pay the FIA more money.
I mean,
Formula One as a sport should pay the FIA more money.
Why should you pay to be in a sport?
Well, why should the FIA be paid so much to regulate the sport? Pay a lot of money.
Why don't the FIA go away and leave the sport alone, and it'd be much better?
That would, well, even if the FIA don't go away, the head of it needs to. He needs to resign and disappear out of modern life and go and live on Mars.
I don't know where he's from, but I'm guessing there's a lot of sand. There's plenty of places for him to disappear too, isn't there? It won't be hard for him to go missing. Can somebody just take him?
But hopefully, I mean, there's rumours that Carlos Sainz's dad will run for FIA president. There's rumours that a couple of others might come from various areas of motorsport. So with any luck, come December, they'll have got enough support.
I'll throw me
he will go away, and we can stop running this tin pot dictatorship that is motorsport.
I can show him I can show him a history of problem solving throughout my tenure on this podcast. I've solved Man United, I've solved FIFA, I've solved England. No one's listened, but I've solved transfers.
Still a mess. FIFA is still a mess.
Yeah, well, if they rang me up and spoke to me, I'd fix it for them. They just don't. They won't take my calls. They keep calling me an idiot and putting phone down on me. Has he said anything else
throughout your life? So yes, he's back. But luckily, we do have a race, so we can just pretend that he doesn't exist.
Wait a minute. You've glossed over something there quite nicely, haven't you? What about the race we haven't discussed?
It wasn't a race. It was Monaco.
What about the car park in the yacht yard that we watched? Come on, tell me what was going on. We threw in an extra pit stop to make it more exciting. And basically, I akined it to, when something gets dropped on the motorway and they have a rolling roadblock so they can clear the motorway. And there's a big sign up saying, follow me. That's basically what happened at the Monaco Grand Prix. Albon, Sainz put a big sign up saying, follow me. And they all did. And then ironically, they swapped him round and Albon did the same. It was literally, was that racing? I mean, the only highlight for me in the whole weekend was George Russell deciding to fuck off and just cut the corner. I just say, well, fuck him. I'm not bothered. I mean, he probably did himself a disservice by not coming on the radio and lying a little bit so that they thought he might have, overshot the corner. I mean, that was the only bit that I agreed with.
I spent the best part of 90 minutes or however long that race lasted. It felt like 3 years.
It was a day and a half at least.
Bear in mind, I've watched Formula One for the best part of 30 years. Probably more. That's concerning. I've never been so confused watching a Formula One race. I didn't know who pitted, who hadn't, who was meant to be where, who was winning, who wasn't winning, why Albon was driving slower than the sands of time.
First race and that being it.
It was just...
like when I watch AFL and I'm like, well, there's 35 people on a pitch and I don't know who's got ball and who's not got ball. That's what people have been like watching Formula One. I mean, it's quite a simple sport in its essence, isn't it? The guys start, they start in a certain order based on qualifying, and whoever gets to the end first wins, and basically it's not much more than that. I mean, Monaco was not that at all, was it?
It was too much.
It was almost like there was 3 races going on. Well, races is a bit of a strong term, isn't it? There's 3 traffic jams going on. And yeah, it was like, again, you're driving home, you get in a traffic jam, you think, fucking hell, I'm going to be late for my tea. You clear that one and you get into another one. And it was like, is this a sport? Can we really call this a sport?
I mean, Isaac Hadjar got a lot of praise last week. Rightly so, he's having a very good season. But when you look at actually what happened last week, Lawson just basically walked round in the way.
And nobody could overtake him.
Nobody could overtake him. So Hadjar, yes, did a great job keeping the car out of the wall. First time in a Formula 1 car at Monaco, I appreciate that. But actually, I think some of the praise he got was a little bit overhyped just for the simple fact that his teammate was basically a rolling roadblock.
The fact he didn't race anybody at any point.
And like you said, the Williams is then
a full run of Monaco to himself, didn't he?
You've got Williams
catching anyone in front of him, wasn't fast enough, and there was no one behind him, even within the fucking solar system as him.
Williams then played silly games of we'll slow down so for one can go and then the other can go. And then Mercedes' strategy, though, I mean, Mercedes' strategy was basically we don't understand what's going on, so we'll wing it and hope something happens at this point. We don't have a plan.
And then cheat at the end because it's not going our way, basically. I mean,
but in the end, he didn't have a strategy, cut the corner, basically said, screw you, I've cut the corner on purpose because this is all horseshit.
Which I totally agree with. I mean, I'm on his side. I don't agree with cheating, but there was a point of the day where I thought, that's the highlight. Driver of the day was George Russell for doing something different.
What I think should have happened, though, and unfortunately most drivers wouldn't have done it, they all should have done it.
Yes, that's the best deal, didn't they? And if they just changed the track to that long straight there, they've actually made the straight longer. We might have got an overtake. I mean, George Russell, all he needs to do is lock up a little bit.
Yeah.
Go straight across the chicane, say, I've locked up, hand the position back. Well, we're out of control. Sorry, I'm not going to play the game. They'd have gave him a 5-10 second penalty and he'd have just fucked off up street and gone and been fine. I mean, he did what I'd have done. but I'm an idiot. I'd have said, well, fuck the FIA. What a stupid race this is. I'm just going to fucking do what I want. Which is
should have
all
done
right
it.
when you don't race for them, but he
He should have
does.
done it 20 laps earlier. He
Hmm.
should have done that 20 laps earlier, and he'd have made up all of the penalty that he ever lost. Well, he made
The
up
thing is
most of
now,
it anyway.
it's kind of showing people what to do next year. Turn 1, well, turn whatever it is, turn 7, first lap, fuck across the thing, fuck off into the distance. Give me as much penalty as you want. I'm 2.5 laps in front. You can't penalise me 2.5 laps. You're going to disqualify me, and then it could have been carnage, couldn't it?
Well, it
could have
kind
been
of was.
plowing through there, just left, right, and centre.
I mean, the whole race. We'll keep saying race. The whole event was carnage. It was far too much reliant on everybody watching who was in the pit lane.
Which you had to do because there were people that seemed to have pitted 15 times and people that didn't pit until lap 73 or 74. It was mental.
You had not enough graphics, I don't think, to deal with the pit stops. So the timing boards weren't showing you who done what, when, why, and how.
No one knew.
It was all just. It was frantic, but not in a good way. So if I go back to Canada 2011, it rained. There was a lot of pit stops. Button pitted 6 times in that race and won it. It was frantic, but it was good. Last weekend was just chaos.
To it in a sense.
It was just people running around throwing tyres on a car going, pit stop now. Why? Don't know. Do it.
I mean, didn't one guy pit on lap 2 or lap 1?
I think Ocon did, potentially.
No, Tsunoda as well. Did Tsunoda pit early? Didn't he pit like
possibly
lap 2 or lap 3? And I was like, there were one guy that pitted twice by lap 15. And I'm like, I'm not sure that was the principle of what they've done here. And then there's George Russell
did a free stop.
65. And I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. Why is this a thing?
Been forced to do 2 stops, and Hulkenberg went, no, let's do 3. Really spicy.
There were 2 of them that did 3 stops. It's like, you don't need to stop. George Russell's done an entire race on 1 set of tyres. You've had 4 sets on. Why do you need 4? And you're not even going anywhere.
And then Max took the ultimate piss, really, didn't he? Just by bitboxing on the last lap because he just couldn't be arsed with it. I actually thought he was just going to not bother and get disqualified just because he thought, I can't be bothered with this nonsense.
I'd have backed him for it, to be fair. I mean, I don't back Max very often, but if he'd have got disqualified, I'd have backed him to get his place back because it deserved to happen. What a fucking stupid race. I mean, I did see the drawing that said they should change the chicane into the water. I mean, that were my idea, can I just say?
I mean, your plan, though, wasn't to build a track. You were just going to let them in the water.
It'd be more fun if they just all drove into water, to be fair. But I did say there's got to be a track built into that water so we can have some sort of event where it's absolutely of use to us. Or just like Mario Kart. I think it was George that suggested that, didn't he? And I agree. Like where they all get two things, sprinklers, oil, a banana, and you can just throw them out the car whenever you want. There's something. Or Lego racing, did he say?
Oh, the Lego race. The Lego race at Miami was infinitely more entertaining than what happened last Sunday because I it got a lot of attention and it got people talking about it, but not for me in the right way.
No, because anyone who's seen that, anyone who's new to the sport will have totally have blown their mind. That'll have just sent them off the edge to the point where they've just looked at it and thought, well, I don't like this. This is not, you want to, I get frustrated with it because I want to see drivers driving at the pinnacle flat out all the time. I don't want to see tyre saving. I don't want to see fuel saving. They don't want to see any of that. That's not even a problem to them. They've just watched a lot of cars follow each other around, except for one that crashed randomly for no apparent fucking reason. And it was like, what is it? Why?
The other bit that I found fantastic was Pierre Gasly at the start rear-ended Tsunoda and then came over the radio and said, I've got no brakes. Well, no shit, Sherlock, you've got no wheels. I've got because you don't have a brake on your left front side because the tyres.
How close was he taking his teammate out when he went across the chicane?
Oh God!
I mean, he went across the chicane at a rapid speed, didn't he? And his teammate would have just been a sitting duck, and it'd just been in car with him.
But yeah, I just couldn't believe it. I've got no brakes. Well,
that's what it needed. He just needs a random car every now and again to be fired across the chicane. That's a Mario movement where you can fire that turtle at him. That's what it was like. It just, I mean, we've gone from one extreme to the other in Formula 1 this season. We've had a couple of brilliant moments, but that's the lowest of the low I think I've seen in the sport in a long time.
It is for me, and there's a
I mean,
lot of
they'd
people
almost be better saying there's no pit stops in Monaco, and your tyres are just going to... You've all got to run the mediums, and there's no pit stops. It's going to be a bit leery at the end because no one will have any tyres left, and maybe we might get some overtakes. But we've gone the other way. I mean, 2 pit stops definitely didn't work.
If they're going to do the 2 pit stops at Monaco, it's going to have to be done in a more structured way. But the problem with then doing it in a more structured way is you lose then the randomness of it. So if you say you've got to pit between... Your first stop's got to be between lap 13 and 20, and your second stop's got to be lap 50 to 60, for instance, just to use numbers, it then becomes too prescribed and too...
You might as well not bother, haven't you?
Yeah.
You might as well just stick to...
But if you leave what we had, you've got carnage, and I mean utter carnage. I've watched this sport religiously. I'm a massive fan of this sport, and I sat there going, I'm confused. I don't know what's going on.
Extremely confusing and painful.
I don't know who's where. Why are Williams basically cheating, but legally cheating? We're driving 7 seconds a lap slower than everybody else, but that's fine because nobody can pass me. So Russell's just going to cheat and pass him off the track, and we're like, this is... It's just all
I just expected everyone to do the same the next lap. There'd just to be a train of cars just going straight across chicane.
I expected them all just to not bother and go.
And just think, oh, this is now just going to descend into... Yeah, it's like tools down. We're doing what we want. It was... I think it's a very low point for the sport.
But it took away from what in the end was actually a very good drive by Lando Norris. He controlled the race. He did what he needed to do. He ignored the chaos and carnage of people pitting every corner or whatever the hell they were doing at some points. I think he lapped everybody or something. I think at one point he lapped everybody to 6th place because they'd all pitted or hadn't pitted.
It was hard to know, wasn't it? It was hard to know who he'd lapped and who he hadn't because you didn't really know where anyone was.
No.
It just, it wasn't a great day for the, Well, I'm glad it's 12 months, so we see that again anyway.
Luckily, it's 13 because they're moving it next year. It's not on the same weekend anymore. It's pushed back into June now.
Are they moving it to a month that doesn't exist in the calendar?
Yes, Julember.
Can it just be, hopefully, it just rains that bad that the race gets cancelled next year?
No, if it rains, it's actually quite good. What you want is a wet to dry or dry to wet Monaco, and then it becomes watchable.
Sprinklers.
So the sprinkler idea is a good one, and I'll be in charge of them.
Yeah, just whack a button every now and again.
Yep. Just going to deluge the track.
A bit like Germany when Vettel crashed into barrier. Just have it on like 4 corners, not all the track, just the chicane.
But then we move on to Spain and the new technical directive that everybody has bleated on about for 3 months.
Well, my first point was, what's happened?
Nothing. There we go. Let's all move on with life.
Nothing's happened.
No. I've been saying it for 3 months. The teams have had 5 months to get used to what this is going to be.
So Christian Horner spent his entire life moaning about this and nothing's happened. Is that what you're telling me?
Pretty much. Although we have a very small sample set right now of one track. It is one track that is known to be, if your car is good aerodynamically in Spain, you will be good at the majority of the calendar because it has a vast variety of corners, high speed, low speed, long, short. You get the gist of it, that if you go well in Spain, you will go well in the season.
That's why they used the test there then.
Yes, because it had the variety for what you needed. Unfortunately, it's just too cold. So yes, Christian Horner and Red Bull have spent the last 6 months going, flexi wings, it's all flexi wings, they're cheating. And they've got rid of the flexi wings. McLaren was still quicker by 0.4 of a second.
It still seems to be the same order, doesn't it? Oscar's better than Lando. Lando's on a par with Max, but slightly quicker most of the time. And Ferrari are dog shit. They just seem to get a lap here and there.
And George Russell somehow was third. Well, equal third.
Mercedes are decent, and George Russell's driving the wheels off it. I thought George and Hamilton drove quite well, to be fair, but I just seem to have a big furor of them. What are they doing or when?
Charles Leclerc clearly only had 1 set of tyres for Q3. Or something went wrong. Because he did his lap at the beginning, got out of the car. Only got 1 set of tyres. Use them at the end, not at the beginning.
They use them at the end, but why not go and give Hamilton a tow?
Exactly. That would have also been an idea.
Piastri obviously didn't want to give Lando a tow, did he? Because I don't think I've ever seen a guy break as hard after finishing his lap as Piastri did. He nearly threw anchor out, didn't he?
And Mercedes did the same, though. Russell offered to give Antonelli a tow.
They didn't take advantage of it.
Nope. Antonelli had only got one set of tyres, so again, they didn't give Russell a tow. So I don't understand. There were some weird decisions yesterday.
Yeah.
Yuki couldn't tow a tractor because he last.
You could give Yuki a tow. I mean, the only thing with Yuki giving Verstappen a tow is it'd slow him down. Because he'd have to brake to go around him.
I mean, I don't know where Red Bull go now.
Hopefully, Leap Sport.
It hasn't worked with Albon all the years ago. Didn't work with Gasly. It worked partially with Perez, but then fell to pieces. Lawson got half an hour in the car, and they didn't like that. And Tsunoda's now last.
But we've said this before, haven't we? Just give it a kid and just accept it's going to be rubbish and send him round. Max is fighting for titles. I mean, what more can you do?
No, exactly. There's nothing you can do at this point. They've just got to accept that that's the way it is.
Stop ruining people's careers by sacking them and give it to somebody and just let them race the car.
I mean, because what I fear next will happen is that Isaac Hadjar's going to be told he's driving for Red Bull. He's doing well. Don't ruin that guy's career by giving him this car.
They're ruining careers left, right, and centre. How does Christian Horner sleep at night?
Do you know what I likened them to this morning? Red
Man
Bull
United?
are Manchester United of Formula One. You're just ruining everybody's
bring them
career.
in with all the promise and talent in the world, and we sell them a bag of shit, and then they go somewhere else and they're good again.
Yep. Basically, you are one and the same entity.
Oh, fantastic. Just what I needed to hear on my weekend. So, Oscar's lap. Again. It's just good, isn't it?
There's two. So I've watched the onboard comparison that F1 now put out a really cool video of. It does a ghost of one and shows you the other. Lando makes two mistakes. So on the exit of turn 4, he runs slightly wide onto the marbles.
Yeah.
And the exit of turn 5, he then loses the back end.
He's overdriving a bit into, I think, what Nico Rosberg was saying.
God, don't. I can't deal with that man. That man doesn't exist in my world. He talks utter nonsense for an hour and a half.
Traffic cone, isn't he?
Here was my thing with Lando yesterday. And I took a slightly different stance on it to what I would normally do. He overdrove, but I kind of saw that as a good thing. His mentality was, I'm going for it. I need to go for it. Yes, it's not worked, but that's better than the half-baked, kind of jovial, oh, never mind kind of attitude. At least he went balls to the wall, put it all on the line, and yes, this time it didn't work. But that's a better attitude for me than being all nice about it and just kind of trundling around second and accepting it. Yes, he overpushed. He went too far. But is that not better than...
Yeah.
At least he tried and failed.
I think the only difference I would say is the great drivers wouldn't make that mistake, would they? At that time.
But he's not a great driver. He's a very good driver.
No. It just concerns me that we have an English driver in currently the fastest team, and he's not going to win the title against somebody his junior in both age and experience. Just irks me a little bit. That
he's up against somebody who's got a better mentality, and that's.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've never seen a guy celebrate as little getting pole position as Oscar Piastri did.
As much as people say you've got to stop using the mentality thing, you can't, because it's such a big thing in Formula One. When you're talking, you need half a tenth of a second to be top or third in some instances. It's mentality that matters. And not making that mistake at football, you can make one bad pass and it's not the end of the world. One bad corner in qualifying ruins your whole weekend potential, especially if you're at Monaco and you then have to drive around a car park for 3 weeks. So you're talking such fine margins that unless Lando can get a grip on whatever this is right now, he can't get on top of Oscar. Now, in the race, it may be different here. Lando's still better at tyre management. He's better at not overheating the tyres. He's better at keeping them in and running longer into stints than Oscar is. Oscar's better at it now, but there's still an element of if he pushes too hard too early, it could end up in
Might
trouble.
be available for him.
But then on the flip side of that, there's Lando's got to get off the start line. He's got Max and he's got Russell behind him, who are both usually pretty sharpish off the start. There's a long run into turn one. There's a lot of slipstream going to happen.
I mean,
Lando could be first or he could be seventh out of turn one.
I mean, my unfortunate view is there's more chance of Lando being fourth than first after turn one.
Yes, I would agree. Because I just don't think
that's just a genuine review by watching how he starts Grand Prix. He more chances, more times than normal, drops a few places than he gains a number of places.
Yes, absolutely.
There's more chance of him doing something wrong in turn one and not being close enough then to challenge Oscar, because Oscar can disappear into the distance by the time he's made up for his mistake.
Yep.
It'd be nice to see it change. It would be so good to see him go down the inside of Oscar into turn one and control the race. That's what I want to see from him today. I want to see him go for it, get off the start well, go for it into turn one, give it to him, and get the lead coming out of turn two, and be able to then have, prior to pit stop, control the race, go from there. Can he do it?
I mean, there's one thing that history does tell us about this track, that one of the two McLarens should win the race. So 31 of the 34 races that have taken part at Catalonia have been won from the front row.
Wow.
One of those
Max?
didn't have
Max fourth.
Third. He beat Russell on doing the lap first.
Yeah.
One of the times that didn't have a front row winner was when we had a team locking out the front row and they were both in a hedge by turn four. When Rosberg and Hamilton decided that, when Rosberg decided that he wanted to just drive Hamilton into a hedge, and that happened. So, I think unless anything like that happens this afternoon, which I don't see happening, if I'm honest, McLaren should win the race. Whether they get a 1-2, I think depends a lot on the start. If Lando ends up off the track or getting swamped, it could become difficult for him to get back through.
Yeah, how many points did he behind Oscar now after last week?
13 is my guess, but
it's close then, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've all made a lot about how the start of the season's gone and how the fact that Lando's not really at the right level currently, but yet he's still 3 points behind, not 13. Oh, yes, he's 3 points. He's 3 points behind, and then Max is a further 25 behind. Yes.
Yeah.
So
McLaren's leading the championship's huge, isn't it?
It's approaching 200 points already. The constructors is dead and buried unless they literally fall off the road.
So Lando's really in it, isn't he? Really, really in it after last weekend. He's really put himself in there. It'd be nice to see him now seize the opportunity up to the summer break, wouldn't it? Which is probably 5 races away or something like that? 4 races away.
We've got, before the summer break, Spain, Canada, randomly, Austria, Britain, Hungary, Spa. There might be 6 left, I think, before the summer break.
So he needs to seize it. He needs to be. This is his time now, to put his foot down and get a little bit of a lead going into the break. This
would be the time. If we go back a few years, Hamilton used to spring to life. Start of the season wasn't great. He'd be a bit behind, or he'd be, there or thereabouts, and then all of a sudden,
Man United man from the Fergie, just be in it.
He'd get to this stage of the season, and then just after the summer break, and just come alive. And Lando's going to need to do that because Oscar's not going to go anywhere. Oscar's only going to get stronger. Red Bull may or may not sort out that car. Ferrari may understand what Formula One is at some point and actually figure out that they want to do it again, but that's not always,
What? I know we're going back to a previous race here, but the radio message between Hamilton and his team, when he asked them if it was still a minute behind, did he say, or something like that? And the guy told him what tyres the other racing cars were on.
Yes, so this was coming towards the end
Like
of
Lewis
Monaco.
Hamilton, and I just drove that car into pit lane and literally drove it into the pit lane. Just into the fucking box where they're all sat and just said, "Nah, sort it out, you fucking idiots." What's gone on there?
Yeah, so at the end of Monaco, he says, "Am I still a minute behind?" He says, "Charles is on mediums." It's not. There's no correlation.
And I just parked it up, gave him keys, and said, "You drive it, because I'm not fucking doing this no more."
It's
Stupid
like me saying
idiot.
to you, "What day?" Me asking you what day is it, and you saying, "I'm in Perth."
Sunday.
There's
It's
no
like
correlation.
he's got to rely on this guy to be giving him accurate information throughout a racing weekend, and he can't answer the simplest questions.
Yep.
Oh, am I still a minute behind? There's only one answer. Well, there's two answers possible.
Yes or no.
It's yes or no. Would have done. More information would have been to say, no, you're 42 seconds behind. But yes or no is quite acceptable. I'd have taken that. To tell him what tyres three of the drivers are on is not really what we were looking for, is it? Also not relevant. And I'm just thinking, when he sits in that car and he's thinking, when this guy told me to pit, should I have really pit? Does he really know what he's talking about?
I mean, you wouldn't mind if this was a one-off, but we looked through the season so far. We've had Australia where he just kept saying press K1. That's the only information he got the whole race. Press K1.
There weren't even a K1 button, I don't think. That's
We
worst
had
thing
another
about it.
race where basically he asked, "Where do I need to be quicker?" And he just said, basically, he just numbered every corner.
11, 13, 27, 42, and a bonus ball.
And then we've had my seat's wet. Yeah, that'll be the water.
There's a meme on that. It's fucking brilliant. We had a baby sat in a seat full of water, and he goes, "My seat's wet." And he goes, "Yeah, it'll be the water." And I'm like, fucking hell. Absolutely class.
We've then had them trying to change positions in Chine. No, it might come after that, where they just spent a whole afternoon arguing about it instead of just getting on with it. Miami, sorry.
It was, yeah.
So Miami, they should have let Lewis through 6 laps earlier, and then didn't, and then argued about letting him through, and then argued about letting Charles back through, and then Fred Vasseur said we did it all perfectly. I'm like, well, you didn't. Let's be honest. Yeah. And then we come to Monaco, and he says, "How far behind am I?" And he goes, "Medium tires."
Hey, dear. It's like walking into a Chinese restaurant and trying to order some tea, isn't it? It's like, fucking hell, they don't have a clue what they're saying to each other. I mean, it's mental.
It's concerning how these people have been. I mean, Ferrari are not new to this sport.
No, I mean, I don't remember a time they've not been in it.
Ricky, who is now Lewis's race engineer, is not new to doing this. He was Carlos Sainz's race engineer, and I think he did bits with Vettel at one point. Am I a minute behind? Charles is on medium tyres. That is not a conversation that ever should happen.
It's like a massive delay on the radio. Maybe like the delays from Spain, from Miami. So he asked him something in Miami, and he's just heard it, and he's like, "Yep, Charles on mediums. We'll pit you next." And maybe they're running like a week behind on radio transmission. It's just impossible for it to be so bad every week, isn't it?
I mean,
I'm a Man United fan as well. This is quite ironic. I can complain about how bad something is.
I would have agreed with. I literally, if I'd have been Lewis, I'd have just got to the chicane that Russell cut. There's a runoff road to the side. I'd have just driven down there, parked it, I'd have got out and gone home because he lives in Monaco.
And got pissed and just thought, "Oh, fuck this sport. I don't need this no more, do I? I've got all this money. I've got houses and jets everywhere. What have I got to deal with this idiot for? Telling me what tyres my teammates on, who's not even remotely in the same race as me. I'm so far behind everybody. It was just the most random thing in the world. Yeah. I mean, everyone I speak about Formula One are like, "What's going on with Lewis Hamilton and his engineer?" And I'm like, "You don't even understand Formula One, and even you've picked up on it." It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I'd have just gone back to my apartment, shut the door, not dealing with you all.
When they rang me, I said, "Oh, I've quit. Sorry, I'm now a pro boxer."
I'd have just said, "It's raining."
Random Conor McGregor in MMA now because that's less painful than fighting and driving for you guys. Fucking hell. I mean, every week, isn't it? I can't think of a race this season where they've not said something stupid.
I mean, it's coming to the point. I mean, Charles Leclerc's now said, "Oh, we'll add that to the book of wisdom." He even knows how stupid they are, and it's now a running joke within the team that they're all thick.
But they're all communicating in English,
yes,
which I understand isn't their native tongue. But they must have done it thousands of times.
Yes,
it wasn't a difficult question, was it? He didn't ask him the coordinates for the yacht in the boatyard. He asked him whether it was a minute, 1 minute, un minuto, whatever you want to say, behind the guy in front.
Medium
and we
tyres.
came back with the tyres. I mean, was there even the right answer? Was he even on mediums? Do we even check that?
No, I've no idea.
You know, was he even on those tyres? Nobody even looked at that, did they?
Busy laughing at just the whole concept of how we got to that.
It was George Russell cutting the chicane and Lewis Hamilton's radio message. Other than that, the other 70 whatever laps were the worst time of my life.
Oh, Gasly's radio message was also very good. So it was basically the radio was the whole... the radio was better than the race.
The radio and that chicane pretty much were the highlights of the race.
Russell saying, I don't care, just give me the penalty. Gasly saying, I've got no brakes. And Ferrari just saying, medium tyres.
Stupid stuff down the radio again. Oh, dear. Well, so what happens today then? Go on top 3 as it is?
Yeah. And actually, for once, I am going to say, the way it is. Oscar, Lando, Max. I think that's the way it ends today.
Well, I can't go with you, so I'll go... One at McLaren's ain't going to finish.
Yeah, but which one?
Lando doesn't finish. Oscar, Max, George.
Okay, then. How does Lando not finish, or are we not prepared to go that far?
There's water in his seat, and
it's wet.
He gets 2 mediums up front and 2 hards up back, and he gets disqualified. I don't fucking know. Meteor strike. He crashes into somebody at turn 1 and damages his car, and he can't continue after pitting.
Okay, then. There we go.
If that comes through, I'm going to have to put lottery on tomorrow.
Medium tyres.
Yep, medium tyres. Oh, well.
Oh, well. Well, we've managed to get through another episode of...
We were concerned we got no content.
Yes, but luckily Ferrari exists in the world, so we're all right for another week. Once again, guys, thank you all very much for watching, listening, and putting up with us ramble on about various things for the last hour and 10 minutes of your life. We will be back again very, very soon. Hope you all have a great weekend.
Goodbye.